Oil prices have risen by more than 4%, extending gains from the previous session. And after the U.S. imposed sanctions on major Russian suppliers, Rosneft and Lukoil, over the Ukraine war. Now, Brent crude futures were up $2.71 or 4.3% at $65.30 a barrel at around 0841 GMT. Now, while U.S. West Tex intermediate crude futures were up $2.56 or 4.4% at $61. Crude prices jumped after the U.S. sanctions were rolled out, and refineries in China and India will now need to seek alternative suppliers to avoid exclusion from the Western banking system. Now, the U.S. said it was prepared to take further action as it called on Moscow to agree immediately to a ceasefire in its war in Ukraine. Well, whether Nigeria can take advantage of that is another matter. Now, meanwhile, Nigeria continues to import petrol. According to data, over 69% of petrol have been imported between 2024 and 2025, and that's despite Dangote Refinery being operational. Now, for an in-depth analysis on this, I'm joined now by Sowunmi. He's an oil and gas expert. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight. So, Nigeria imports 15 billion liters of petrol despite Dangote Refinery output. Some figures put it at about 69% imported between 2024 and 2025. Again, despite Dangote Refinery. I mean, is this an anomaly or what? Why are we still importing so much when we have a functional refinery of about 650,000 barrels per day capacity?
Okay. Well, thank you. You know, I used to work in market research.
Right.
And there's an axiom. They used to say there's lies, damn lies, and statistics. So sometimes statistics can be skewed in a way that doesn't quite present the facts. So let's look a little bit at the facts. I think some of those data came in from what NMDPRA presented to the National Assembly, but they don't actually represent per annum representation. I think it's about 18 months or something. Okay. So when you talk about the figures, rather than it being quoted in terms of per annum, which is what everybody expected it to be,
yes,
they somehow the 18 months is put into the per annum basis. That's on one side. The other side is that Dangote Refinery, which is a great development, I mean, proud that we should all be, something of pride that we should all be, yes, and all that, is not yet operating at full capacity. So it is not the whole of the 650,000 barrels.
That's operational.
That's operational.
Right now.
Yes.
Do we have an idea?
Yes, I think.
What's the capacity now?
I think it's about 70%. I don't know for certain because I'm not following.
Which is already huge in itself.
Yes, which is huge because Dangote produces
70% of 650.
Yeah, Dangote actually produces close to a little under 30%. I think like 27% of daily consumption, which is huge by any standard, any stretch of imagination. Yes. However, it is normal that even in every nation in the world, including the US, which is the biggest producer at the moment, Saudi Arabia, everywhere else, there's still some amount of importation. In fact, Dangote Refinery itself exported petrol to the US about a month and a half back. So the fact that we're importing is not an anomaly.
Yeah, but it's how much we're importing that's raising.
No, so we import based on what we need. So if we are able to produce everything that is being needed locally, then it would reduce it to a barest minimum. However, if we are not able to produce it, that's the issue at the end of the day is that people need fuel.
Right.
It should be understood that importation has continued to reduce since the day that Dangote Refinery came on board. That is a fact. So, like I said,
so we're making improvements.
Definitely.
It's not as bad as it seems. No. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not.
I mean, when you consider that Nigeria actually consumed, based on the figures I have here, 12.5 billion liters of petrol between the reference period, October 2024 and October 2025, 9 billion liters were imported out of 12 billion that we've consumed in 1 year, though you say it's about 18 months. 3.5 billion liters came from domestic supply, mainly Dangote Refinery.
Yes.
So why is it that Dangote Refinery is still not able to meet the consumption demand?
It can only supply what it can produce.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Is it a problem of feedstock?
Why? It's not like there is production from Dangote Refinery and people are refusing to buy.
To buy, yes.
No, that's not the case. So it is what he brings in that people can buy. So it's just that he's not able to meet the local demand. Yeah,
but that's the question. Why is he not able to meet local demand? Is it that he's not getting the amount of
the local demand is beyond what the local demand
is beyond what Dangote can meet.
Yes, it's
so the chances of Dangote ever meeting the Nigerian consumption need is very, very very slim. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so. It's a matter of just pure mathematics. I don't think he can meet it.
That's quite interesting, because before all of this, I mean, the whole euphoria about, Dangote Refinery coming on stream and how, it will save Nigeria about $40 billion, a year in fuel importation. And here we are, you're saying it's not realistic to expect that. So what impact do you think this will have eventually on
let's
the naira, on the economy as a whole, if we continue to import so much, in spite of the fact that we do have a huge refinery, the biggest, one of the biggest in the world?
Okay, so the fact of the matter is that you have a need.
Yes.
If the need is, for want of a better argument, let's say between 1 and 10. And you have different sources that can provide for it.
Yes.
And those sources can provide, let's say, 6 out of the 10. You have to look for a way for the balance.
Yeah, to meet the 4.
Which is usually you may be getting from outside sources and all that. So you can look at those outside sources like importation.
Right.
The Dangote Refinery, operating at full capacity, can only produce so much. That's even at full capacity. But they're not even yet operating at full capacity. Right. So what they're able to produce, they're able to get it to the market, and the market will use. It's as simple as that.
So what will it take for Nigeria to actually achieve 100% dependency on local production?
Maybe 99%, but there still must be gap for theirs, because that's part of energy security. It's a global thing. Now, what it will take is for other sources to come on board, which will also take some time, for the energy refineries to start working in optimum state, for the Boa refinery to come up, for the refinery that was being projected or sponsored by the Adebutu family somewhere in Ogun State. Right. There was one there, and all the others to come on board. Those are the things that will happen. There's no shortcut to it. And it's, unfortunately, contrary to what Nigerians think, some of these things take time because they're infrastructure.
Yes,
they take time, they take money. Even the Dangote refinery itself took some time to get on board. And so these people are new, so it will take some time. It's not Pepe that they're selling.
Understandably
yes,
so.
It is infrastructure. It will take some time. And even those people who come in are going to get used to the market. They are going to engage the market. People are going to be familiar with their prices and all that. It's not going to happen overnight. We actually didn't get to the stage of importing everything overnight. So the change too will not take place overnight.
But we do have refineries that are still moribund. In spite of it's technically functional, when it comes to Port Harcourt refinery and the other, Warri, Kaduna refinery. Of course, we're not hearing anything about those. I thought you would even say that there's a need for us to, should we just sell off those refineries, or should government still continue to, put so much money in flogging it, what some have described as a dead horse?
I come from a family of doctors. Of them. And
medical doctors?
Yes, medical doctors. My junior brother is a medical doctor. My father was a medical biochemist. My father-in-law is a medical doctor. So we hear all this. But one of the things that they do say is that the best doctor is the doctor that is on site.
Barely, right.
So the truth of the matter is that we can do a lot of analysis based on what we hear from outside, but there must be a proper audit of those refineries to actually know what's the issues.
Right.
Is it sabotage? Is it corruption? Is it incompetence? Is it so?
Or is it a combination of all these factors you just ruled out?
So we really don't know. So, but the truth is that the refineries can function. They may not be functioning, but they can function. They can function, and there is capacity in terms of knowledge to actually run those refineries, because they were running it for decades before those things happened. And there were times that it actually ran for during the Jonathan administration and all, they ran for a number of years and was still producing. So there has to be reasons why it's not producing. And those reasons, we need to get to the root of it.
And we could spend all night asking what those reasons are. But Sowunmi, I have to leave it there.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. It's your birthday today.
Thank you very much.
We managed to pull you out of your celebration. But thank you very much for joining us
The pleasure
on
is mine.
News Night.